Sentinel Mindset.
Well, what's up, everyone? Hoping you have a fantastic day. Today, we have a very special guest on the show, okay? By surprise, this is an ambush podcast right now today. We have the one and only Miguel Khan. Now, who is Miguel? I mean, I'll tell you guys, Miguel has been a very close friend of mine for a very, very long time. How long would you say? Since when? Like 2000? Like maybe 1999?
Yeah.
No, hold on. This is like we're going back.
I knew who you were.
Yeah, okay. I think you were around the time when I was first dating my wife. So I think you're like 98. 1998 is when I had Miguel come into my life. But what today is going to be about, and I think it's so important that we capture this. I talk with Miguel all the time. You know, you're here in the spiritual world having an accountability partner or someone that you can reference to, and Miguel has always been that person to me, and we speak about a lot of deep things. And you know, I'll just throw it out there. The reason why I'm in the security industry is because of Miguel. I mean, I worked security, but to come into it on this level was because of Miguel. So I thought it would be perfect to talk about this topic. I've been having a very hard week. It's just been a lot going on. We're growing as an organization. We're trying to always make the product better. We're always trying to evolve. And I had this conversation with Miguel about just trying to change the industry. And he said to me, he goes, is that something that's really your passion? Like, do you really want to change the industry? Is that what you grew up thinking? Like, when I grow up, I want to change the security industry.
Is that your deepest dream?
Is that, and then it started opening up another question is that, can the security, like maybe the title of this podcast is, can the state of the security industry in all its flaws and dysfunction and low bar standard, can it actually change, right? So I thought, you know what? Let's actually have a conversation about this. And welcome to the show.
What an intro.
Yeah, man. So Miguel, look.
Yes.
Just to go right in.
Yes.
Have I always wanted as a child to change the security industry? Okay. No, it was never something that
you dreamt that kept you up at night.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. This is something that God has put into my heart that I need to do. I would say that I've always had this like curiosity and entrepreneurship bug that has always been alive within for me. And you said something as well that everything that I like to do, you interpret it as in like I'd like to do it in excellence.
Yes.
Okay. So, you know, coming into this industry, again, for those of you that don't know, I was brought into this industry by Miguel. He introduced me to, at the time in 2000 and I'm thinking 8, a gentleman here named Brian who ran Sentinel Security. And it was like kind of like a very quick thing. Hey, listen, do you want to help bring a contract to the table? Okay. And we're like, right. and that's really what it kind of came into place. But what I noticed, Miguel, back in 2008 is that the people that were working for Sentinel were all pylons, okay, as the words. And when we hear the word pylon, let me just describe to those who are outside of the world. A pylon is literally something that has no life in it. And it's been kind of coined and phrased. I probably shouldn't be saying it because it has like a condescending
You might get some
term.
backlash. Who cares?
Yeah, but it's someone that basically doesn't do nothing at all, meaning as in they're just a body.
Yes.
But the problem is that actually is a lot of third-party security.
And just to add to the pylon, it's like basically a pylon could do your job. Like
Correct.
You just need someone to stand there and block that door. Just put a pylon.
Right. But you know what the funny thing is? You'll actually even hear clients say, I just need a warm body.
True.
Okay. And
True.
That's how watered down it's getting. So when I saw that in 2008, and I saw it consistently because I've told my story. I actually said it in the last one. The city went on strike. I had to get a job.
That's right.
And I started working for everything. If you recall, I was working in clubs.
Yep.
We were working in like
all over
everything. Yep. And when I was working with you,
Latin concerts.
Exactly. That's where we met guys like Sean Cooper in the mix.
That's right.
We were not, when we were walking into those environments, they were not by any means just stand there, smile, like you're diving into the fire.
Yeah. 1,000%. Yeah.
So I also noticed in many of these environments that they just hired anybody. Like there was just anyone can do the job. So when I started to see this, I'm like, what the heck's happening here? Like this is what security is. Like it was my real first taste of security. And I started working in many different environments, seeing a lot of exposure.
Yeah.
I also saw a lot of amazing people in security.
Yeah.
But for the most part, for the average, I saw a lot of and that was the motivating drive. How do we make a change? How do we change it? And that's been, by the way, the line that I've been using since 2008 is how do we elevate the industry? Now, in the last, let's call it, I don't know, 9-10 years plus, have I noticed a change? And I'm going to say I have.
In the industry?
In the industry.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what it is. We have always pushed for higher rates, always.
Yeah.
And I've noticed a lot of our competitors, if you even want to call them competitors, because I truly feel we don't have any, but I personally feel that a lot of these competitors have also started to do the same way, because at the end of the day, how do you keep up? If we're offering 16, 17 bucks an hour or 15 at that time, and you're someone offering off the get-go 20, there's like a $5-6 difference. How do we compete? So I started to notice that the industry started to shift up.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But what I still haven't seen really happening is that the standard is not being changed.
Do you think that the dollar value going up is just because of the times? Because everything goes up, right? Cost of living, so
yes,
minimum wage.
So minimum wage just went up.
Yes.
Okay. And I just literally was part of an interview right now where I asked somebody, what is your salary or hourly expectation? And he says, well, I hope it's not like this company, which is like one of the top mega companies, because they're paying minimum wage. So, when you hear that, and I know what we do on our end, and I also know that it's been something that I think there's also some people by default, they have to increase their rates because how do you live in one of the most expensive cities in the world?
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's that, but I haven't seen the standard really change. Now, I'm not going to knock every single entity or every single person in the industry. I just think as a whole, if we started from the top saying, will this industry ever change? Is that the right way to approach this? Or is it kind of something that you said, which is kind of what I believe, be the best at what you do and lead the way, lead the charge, whether someone wants to follow or not, just lead the way. Is that a better way of looking at it, you think?
Yes, because what I was telling him on the phone the other day.
So you're actually using the wide now. He's using the wide shot. Yeah.
What I was telling him on the phone the other day is can you and your organization change the industry? And what I was saying is that just to reiterate, just to refresh your memory as well.
Yes.
What I was saying that's the term is blockable goal. Blockable goal meaning you have no control over that. So it's like an athlete who says, I want to win the championship. Well, you have no control over that. What you can control is the goal shouldn't be, I want to win the championship. The goal should be, I'm going to do the best I can every single day. I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to work out. I'm going to be the best I can be, because that's all you can control. The outcome, wanting to win the championship, wanting to change the security industry, there's too many factors that are outside of your hands.
Okay.
So that's what I was challenging you because you were saying how, you're frustrated and sometimes, and there's so much pressure, but you can't control those things.
Right.
What you can control is what you do and what you do in the company and raising your standard. And whether the security industry changes or not, that you did your best and hopefully you left an imprint. So that's what I was saying to him.
Okay. So you've been in and out of the industry for a long time.
Yes.
You've done obviously consulting. You've done basically grounds up where you're looking at. And right now, when I say this, when you're looking at the industry right now, when you're looking at it, has anything changed for you seeing it over the years?
Yeah, just coming back now, I do see things are like as a whole or Sentinel.
Well, I guess both. As a whole, I mean, look, here's the other thing as well. Not everybody in their day-to-day lives is walking around, going to Scotiabank Arena and saying, look at that security.
Correct.
Or doing this. No one's really doing that. In fact, security is never even a thought.
No.
It's the afterthought, basically.
That's right.
I mean, the only time you really think of security is when they've done something wrong.
That's right.
Right?
I would say that I've noticed how should I say this? And more of an awareness of security. Like you just said, no one really pays attention. But I feel like because the world's getting more dangerous.
Okay.
So I've seen more security presence. I've seen more.
Do you see there's more? Do you find there's more like issues happening? more than before? Like, do you find there's more things? Do you find people are more irritable and upset and pissed off these days?
Yes.
So that's something and I noticed that as well.
I do notice that.
Okay.
And I mean, there could be, I don't know why that is. There could be many factors, but there's definitely I've seen a change. I'm not saying for the better, but I've seen like there's, even just this past like there's a lot, I see security more. I don't know if that's because I'm in it. I don't know what it is. The whole red car theory. Like,
yes, yeah.
So I see more security. I feel like there's just more of a presence all around,
Yeah.
But yeah, I just the whole changing the industry thing, I just don't know. I don't know if that's attainable.
Right. Like it's too big of a goal.
It's not that it's too big of a goal. It's just you can't control. I think here's what we didn't talk about on the phone. I was thinking about it again. So I think that you do what you can control. You be the best you can be. You be the best company you can be. You create the best culture you can to be the best. Make that work stand out, right? Because it'll start to ripple. But then I feel like you have to make power moves.
Like what would you consider a power move?
Now we got to start sitting in the right circles to the people who can actually make the change.
Okay.
Because you've laid the groundwork.
Right.
You've laid the groundwork for how many years?
Yes.
You've been fighting for this as if you're, as you said on the phone, Martin Luther King, like going with a cause. Like, I really have this cause. And you've been doing your best. And now you can actually, now you have something to show for. Because the problem is a lot of people have ideas, but they just have concepts. Everyone has concepts. You have an idea, but you can actually do a case study. Look what we've managed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And you have clients that will do testimonials. Yeah, you can. You have a case study.
Right.
So now, what I think you should do is start shifting your mind, focus, and goal from security and operations and scheduling. Like, I heard the other day that you sometimes overlook the schedule. Like, get all that out of your plate.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have to be sitting in the right rooms, governments, premiers, ministries, start sitting in there. And start lobbying for change.
And you know what? The timing could be perfect, because the one thing that I'm hearing over and over again by many, many of these decision makers right now is that they're fed up as well, because the landscape of security has changed dramatically. Like, dramatically. If you don't believe me, just go on Google, type in security Toronto, and just look at the images.
Wow.
The landscape has changed.
Okay, so if the landscape has changed, for the better or worse? Mm-hmm. What I'm asking you.
Yes. It's actually, in my opinion, it's for the even worse.
Okay.
Yes.
So even worse.
Yes. So over 14 years of attacking this, and it feels like we're still like on this little island, and it's become, even for us, it's become even more challenging right now, because you also have now people that are considering getting into the world of security that are coming in with this, I don't know how to describe it. It's something that I'm hearing in the hospitality industry as a whole, but this mass entitlement. And the thing why that doesn't resonate with me is because this type of work for us is that you truly are doing something to help people. You are a protector. You are empathy protectors.
That's right.
Empathetic protectors that are coming in to kind of make a difference. How can you come into something when you don't possess humility?
Yeah.
Or when you come in and you feel like, you're God's gift to the world, which, again, this industry attracts that kind of person as well.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Do you remember why and how licensing came into effect? Or why there was an even ministry created around security? What is the ministry? What is it called?
The Solicitor General of something.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember why that happened?
Because at that time, many, many people were working without a license, I believe it was. Like, tons of them.
But that's no.
Okay.
Yeah, yes and no.
Yes.
There were people working without a license.
Yes.
Someone did something. I can't believe you don't remember this.
Oh, are you talking about the guy that got killed?
No. You're thinking about Kirk, RIP.
Okay, yeah.
What happened was,
yes,
the Toronto Star reporter,
yes,
went and got his security license. Don't you remember this? A reporter from the Toronto Star went and got his security license, then took a picture of himself holding up the license and wrote a massive article that said, wow. The title was like, wow, $150 and now I'm a licensed security guard. And then proceeded to write an entire article of how much of a joke the security industry was.
I remember
that's
that.
What happened.
Okay.
And that's why so as a way to save face, they're like, no, we have, and they implemented that. Remember they did Blitz when we used to work for Cassius, and they came and they were taking pictures of us, and or you're doing security, where's your license? And we have to go to court. How many times did we go to court for this stuff?
Right.
That's why. Because a guy, the Toronto Star reporter, exposed the industry. Right.
So now they introduced the 40 hours. So
they introduced, they just as a knee-jerk reaction to say, no, we have it under control. They went and implemented this 40 hours. They made it like they were working on this all along. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, it was just reactive. Mm-hmm. And it's still the same thing. Now they just made it a little bit harder and longer.
Well, the funny thing is now they're actually going after training entities. I don't know if you know this or not. They're going after training agencies right now because the training agencies are charging $5,000 that'll give you a passed license, a first aid CPR certificate, and a job letter stating that you can come in as a supervisor. And they're doing this for people that are in third world countries to come over. Wow. So they can get their license. And these people can't speak English. Yeah. And they're coming in. But that's another issue right now. Look, I can tell you that the Solicitor General's office, there's like apparently 6 or 7 auditors. And they are the only auditors in the Ontario. They're maneuvering the best that they can. But how can you? I mean, look, the state of the industry, honestly, in my opinion, is laughable because you're trying to enforce uniforms, but then you got training, and then you got this. And it's like there's no order.
What needs to happen? Here's what I think needs to happen. If the security industry, this is what this is about, right?
Yes.
Changing the security industry.
Yes. Can it change?
Can it change?
Yes.
It has to. If this is going to happen, if this is going to change, it has to be done at the government level. Like it can't. It's. I hate to break it to you. It's not going to be you that makes that change.
Right.
You can be a part of it and show what you've done and the work you've done, but there needs to be a governing body that and a standard that sets the tone for what it is.
Right.
You know, I don't know much about youth sports when it comes to hockey, and I know a little bit about soccer, but I know a lot about basketball. There's no governing body. You have this league, that league, this league, that league. I've gone to tournaments and I've watched a kid play a game, finish that game, the coach go pick him up and say, when's your next game? 8? Okay, come here. Take this jersey, put it on. And he plays on his team in the same tournament.
Right.
It's a free-for-all. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
There needs to be like a governing body that governs what happs, the training, how you get hot. That's what I see that has to happen. And you're right. I think that you have the resume now. Yeah. You actually have you have what it takes to show you can do a case study. Look what we've managed to do. Right. We've identified these problems, we've fixed them. You know, here's 1,001 testimonials from high profile security guys. Right. And now you got to go to governments and lobby. Right. That's what I think. Okay. So it's beyond the work now. Right.
So you do a lot of work in the entertainment industry as well. Yes. Music, sports, the whole 9 yards. Yeah. Do you see security as well in those circles?
All the time.
And do you find that in those industries as well that it's kind of in line with what we're talking about right now?
1,000%.
So for you...
that's even worse.
Right.
Because that's like that... That is almost like uncharted. It's kind of like what do you call it? You know, when you're like in between borders, where like you're in the sea, like no one governs this area. Right. That's would be the entertainment industry. Why? Because you're an A-list artist or an A-list talent, whatever it is, athlete, actor, singer, whatever. You come in with your security. Everyone just thinks that you're like some big official guy. Really, you're just a big guy. Yeah, you're just a big guy. You know, you look the part. Right. So no one even. And no, you think these these auditors are going to talk to Drake's bodyguards and say, "Let me see your license.
Yeah.
What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah, yeah.
They're going to laugh at him. Get out of my face. Move.
Right.
Or any A-list talent. Excuse me, you're performing the act of security in Ontario. Can I see your Ontario license, please?
Yeah.
Get out of my face.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we have pictures of, get out of my face.
Right.
So the reason I say that is because in that industry, it's even more of a free-for-all.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to dare talk to them.
I'll tell you this. This is interesting here. I don't know if I think I told you this, but I can't remember. I went to Orlando for a thing called GSX. I was asked to go to this thing. And I didn't want to go. And the reason why I didn't want to go is because in my mind, I have an idea what it's going to be. And I went. When I went in there, I got into a very, I'm going to say a dark cloud went over me. Why am I feeling like this? I actually started to feel like almost depressed. And I was looking at all these massive entities that were down there. That's some amazing like vendors that were showing technology, which was a cool thing. You can see a lot of cool technology that's coming down the pipe. But for the most part, I was looking at these big mega companies and other companies. And then there was this one presentation that I did. I did a presentation.
You did the presentation?
No, sorry. I was being presented to by this security systems provider. I'm not going to say their name.
Okay.
And he was saying, if you use our scheduling software and if you enter into the schedule software, your billable rate, let's just call it $23 an hour, and your payout rate, which is 16. This is happening in Orlando, right? I said, I think you made a mistake. I think you mean the pay rate is 23, not the billable. And he goes, no, this is the actual. I'm thinking, oh my God, even at the trade show, the status. By the way, the reason why this irritated me is because I've always been a firm believer, a saying, Miguel, that we both have been around, which is hire good people, pay them well, expect a lot.
Yeah.
And for us, that's always been something within the industry here for Sentinel. But for me to see that people are getting paid so low for a service that requires so much from individuals,
yes.
And then it just started to discourage me. And I started thinking, how am I going to make the change? Do I need to be this size? Do I need to be the size of these massive companies to make the change? So I came back home, and there's nothing better than able to speak to a woman with wisdom, and that's my wife. And all those men out there that have wisdom wives can relate. Wisdom wives. I was telling her, I go, Lorraine, listen, man. She goes, what's wrong? I don't know, man. I'm trying to change. I'm trying to make this. I'm trying to do that. And she says to me, listen, just very calmly, let me ask you a question. Can you name a fast food franchise right now, like a very popular fast food franchise? And I'm like, yeah, McDonald's, Burger King. She goes, okay. Now she goes, I want you to name, if you can think of one, of a high-end Michelin 5, like a high-end restaurant. And then I said, and I'm thinking, because I don't go out a lot, I'm like, one restaurant in Yorkville.
Yeah.
She goes, that's who you guys are. Stay in your lane. Stop forgetting about being this like franchise. And I'm like, the reality is I've never thought of myself as being this massive like take over the nation security entity, but it's always been about be amazing at what you do and then let that speak for itself.
Yeah.
And to me, we're an expensive organization. We obviously provide a higher level of caliber individual, or that's what we're striving always to do. But the bottom line is that to go right back to the original question is like, am I trying to change the industry? The reality is, I think it's safe to say, I think it's impossible to actually think that you're going to get buy-in from every entity around the world. Because keep in mind, a lot of these companies are also global.
Global, yeah.
Right? That you're going to get buy-in because there's an incredible amount of politics involved.
Yeah.
But I think if the approach is, because you hear people, by the way, talking like me all over LinkedIn, all over. They're saying this. There's other companies that think like me.
Yeah.
And the answer is, we'll stop using the word bitching.
Yeah.
What is the solution?
Yeah.
And if the solution is from within, look from within first.
Yeah.
Then if everyone has that approach, then the hopes is that there could be some sort of like standard that one can follow. Because look, we have right now a lot of things in life that are considered like this is what the standard should be, but people don't follow it. Like, for example, the law states that you're supposed to do 100 kilometers on the highway on the 401. Miguel, do you do 100 on the 401?
All the time. In my mind.
In his mind. I don't think nobody in society does 100.
Yeah.
Whether intentionally or unintentionally do it. So the thing is, that's an example of who can say, let's lead the standard of everyone doing the speed limit. And if somebody out there is actually doing the speed limit, it's going to be like, can you expect all the other cars to do it? Will it ever change? Is that the way to look at it? Or is it as long as I look at what I can do for my own internal?
That's all you can do, man.
Right.
That's all you have control over, and that's all you can do. But like I said, what I think you need to start doing now is start finding out the rooms you need to be in and be in those rooms. Get a seat at those tables.
Right.
Is there a governing body?
There is.
Oh, there is.
There is. So basically, the ministry is governed by the Solicitor General.
Okay.
And I do know right now that they've reached out to, I would say, certain entities or people in the security industry that are vocal to kind of create almost like a board level. In fact, I will say this.
Are you on that?
So here's the thing. I'm not. And the thing is, for the specific ones, I'm not sure how to get in there. There's almost like an invite only, or it has to be based on some body of work. But I can tell you this. In the Solicitor General's office, the individual that governs the entire security industry underneath like layers, his name is Stephen Pattison.
Okay.
And I had a conversation with him one day. And he says, look, we meet quarterly. We'd love to have people come in and provide their inputs and you know, kind of look to make change. And I know they've reached out to some people directly, whether it be training entities. For example, there is no training standard in the security industry. What I mean by training standard is there's the 40 hours that somebody put together that anyone can do.
That was the knee-jerk reaction that happened.
Yes.
40 hours.
40 hours.
Yes.
But there is no, for example, like a mandatory 8-hour use of force training that is required to do so. And here's the thing. Here's some things that I've heard. They will never sign on to that.
Why?
Because of money. So if I'm a company that has 6,000 employees in Ontario, okay, 6,000 security in Ontario, and it's going to cost right now. It's all money related. 8 hours of training.
So you're saying the company won't do that?
The company won't do that.
Why can't they make it in order to get your security license? You have to do this.
So the other reason, so we're talking about 48,000 hours at an average rate of, let's just call it, I don't know, $20 an hour. You're talking about $1 million of if somebody wanted to get their people trained as an agency. But let's just say, for example, that's not even on the mix. Somebody just entering the industry. Well, right now, for someone to enter it, here's the question. You're little Billy who wants to walk into the world of security. You're being told that you got to do a 40-hour training course. But then you're also being told right now, we're going to add two more layers, use of force and something else. That training package now will no longer cost you, I think the ministry charges $65 or $40 for the, actually, no. About $200 it costs to actually do this 40 hours. Then you got to write the test. The test costs approximately $65. Then you got to get your background check. This is brand new now. That costs another anywhere from $40 to $50. Then you got to get your passport photos alongside with your application fee of $85. You're running about $450. That's now. Imagine now they say you got to raise a standard even high and add another, let's just call it 16 hours, another $200. Let's just say it costs $600 to get your license right now. Great. What's the job I'm going to get? Oh, you're going to stand in this commercial tower here and get $16 an hour. So my investment. So here's the thing. The lure of getting into security is almost designed to fail. The costing to get into security is almost designed to fail. But look, that's not all the security industry. That's a lot of third-party security industry. I mean, you could get your license, and start off small and build your way up. Because I know people like Kevin Joseph, who is now our director at Brookfield Plaza.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations, shout out to Kevin. He started from the bottom. And he built his way, and he's gotten himself into this amazing opportunity right now. And the thing is, like, you know, that's definitely an approach angle if you have a desire to get and grow in security. But let's just say you don't.
It's just like a part-time job.
Yeah, let's just say you don't, right? And this is why it's very easy now, and it's very accommodating just to get anybody. And when the word says, I just need a warm body, I didn't even know this, but I was told by a director of security at a big mega corporate bank that they do not care about the security that they get. They don't even care if they're sleeping or not.
Wow.
They just checking off the checkbox that there's someone with life in them so they can get their liability and insurance stated and say that we have security.
Because they need to have one.
That's exactly. When I heard that, you have no idea how much that deflated me. Because then I'm realizing, wait a second. If the client doesn't care, the company won't care. And then you have this vicious cycle going on, right? And as one very wise man would say to me named Joe Balls, would say, it's not until something happens and when you put it to the test, will you realize, wait a second, there's a big flaw here.
Yeah.
So look, bro, there's a lot of things that are making things always very, very difficult. But I think in my conversations with you and even in my conversations with Lorraine and being experienced around this thing, these environments, all it made me realize is stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is, Miguel, and we talked about this as well, I don't do this so I can become rich.
Yeah.
I'm doing this because it's a purpose-driven thing that I can be part of change.
Yeah.
Whether the change happens in the direction you want it, I have seen change. And you know what? Even if the change is acknowledged by all our clients because they say, we see something different with Sentinel, that's in itself also very fulfilling to hear.
Yeah. So I think that you just change your, because for years you've always said, you want to change the industry, And I just think that and this is all stemming from me listening to you talk on our conversations on the phone, where it's like, oh, I'm frustrated and all that. And I was thinking about it and I was like, that could be the root of your frustration.
How I'm thinking.
How you're thinking, like you just have to come to the realization that that's over there. I'm just going to focus on what we do here. We're going to be the best.
Right.
We're going to be known as the best to our clients, and that's all you can do. Just be the best.
Listen, we recently went to Belize and we had a chance to play basketball in a beautiful court.
Yes.
And it was at that court shout out to Will.
Can you please call me? You not see the chat, bro?
It was it was at that court that I realized something.
You can't play ball anymore.
I cannot shoot the ball anymore at all because my shoulder and whatever's wrong with it will not allow me to fully extend. And I realized that a hard realization that, hey, I just might have to be a really good passer right now, okay? Because that's really all I can do.
Right.
And I think if we just tie that analogy into here right now is like, look, here's what you can do.
That's right.
Work on this. Now, what about for people hearing this?
Yes.
Like, let's just say you're someone that wants to walk into something and make something great and be part of something great. What advice would you give that person? Because reality is a lot of people don't know what's going on in the industry until they get into the industry.
Yeah.
And sometimes people get in and they can get a very bad experience and then they leave.
Well, we hear that all the time from people that come here for interviews.
Right.
So what's the question?
The question is for somebody that's wanting to come in the industry, right? Two-part question that actually has an understanding of what it's like, but wants to be part of that change. What would you tell that person? Like, align yourself with someone that like aligns with your systems and beliefs and structures?
Yeah. Well, one, same advice that I said to you is to them. You be that person.
Right.
Right? You be the best.
Right.
Treat it as any other thing that you would do. Be the best at it. Do the job well.
Right.
Right? So that, whoever you're reporting to on the day sees that, notice that, and say, hey, that was a great job. Your supervisor hopefully sees. Maybe you get a raise. Maybe you get a promotion.
Right.
And then if you're really not happy there, you got to find the right places to align with.
Right.
And unfortunately, there's not many. And
I'll tell you this. That's good. That's good that you're saying that. People that have come into this organization, and I'm not just saying this for the sake of saying it, I'm going to actually say a good 90% of people that have walked into this organization have used us as a stepping stone and have built themselves to a degree where they're basically working for incredible Fortune 500 companies or have gone onto the police service and gone into their dreams and have really like used it as an opportunity. And I'll tell you this, when you look about what is the gratification that I require to continue doing what I'm doing, there's nothing more rewarding than seeing someone say, thank you for helping me. I'm now a police officer. Thank you. I learned so much. Now I'm doing this in close protection. Thank you for this. Like, honestly, that to me is so rewarding. So that should be your focus.
Right. Just that. Your focus should be something, it should sound something like this, your mission statement or whatever. It should sound something like, and I didn't pre-think this, so bear with me here.
Okay.
It should be something like, my goal is that any security is two parts. For part one, any security guard or security operative, whatever, who comes in touch with me and this organization, notices, recognizes that there's something different, they want to be a part of it, and it helps serve them in their career in law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
Something along those lines.
Right.
Right? Where they don't leave with a bad taste. They don't leave like, this industry sucks. No, you're the hope to the guard.
Right.
And then to the client, my mission is that they see and notice that we are different. We're not like the rest. We do a great job, and they can justify why they're paying more, something like that.
Right.
And then that's it, period.
Yeah. Yes.
It should have nothing to do with the security industry.
Right. I think that's
again,
good,
that
man.
has you have no control.
No, I think that's good because the thing is, I have heard many people talk about it. Look at this. Another guard has been assaulted. Look at this. And the reality is this. How do we find a way internally to ensure that we be the best we can be at what we do? And I think if everyone looks at it like that, I think things in essence should be better in theory. It should be better.
Yeah.
But it's also understanding that this is the job. Like, I mean, there's jobs out there that you have to, for example, smell cheese, okay, as an example, or odors, okay?
All day.
And at the end of the day, that's a nasty job. It's a very hard job, but that's the job that it is. So understand, someone has to do it, right? And it's going to come with its...
So that's a good point. That's a good point. Okay, I'm glad that you brought that up because I think for you too, there needs to be an element of... because look, we're talking about security and protectors and, and front line, like you're on the front lines. You're running in, you're the first, sometimes the first, responder to a situation before the medics come or fire or police. Right. But there's also jobs that are just, you're just standing there, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and for today,
right.
Tomorrow you might be doing something else, but for right now, all that this job requires is, there's a lot of equipment in this room.
Yes, right.
We just need you to sit there and watch it and make sure no one tampers with it.
Right. So, so there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But just making sure that you're paid well for that. Because the reality is this: if you don't watch that equipment, then there's going to be millions of dollars gone.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
So to me,
and who knows what could, look, man, I'm putting my foot in my mouth here because what could be like a nothing job. What if there's actually people scoping out that equipment from earlier on in the day, and planning an actual hit,
right?
And now you're faced with guys who are coming in. They plan to come in at night.
Well, it's interesting that you're saying that because a lot of people say, I want to get into close protection. I mean, Miguel, I've heard people say things like, oh my goodness, I do not want to do this stairwell watch. I don't want to do this, right? But on the other hand, they say, but I want to do executive protection. Oh, really? So there's a gentleman named Jim Bremner who was on the SWAT team with Toronto Police.
I know him.
Amazing guy. Yeah, Jim. Yeah. So Jim said at certain times when he was doing these like high level details, he'd have to stand like outside of a boardroom, for example. Yeah. And do you ever see actually right here, you see the drywall up there or the see how many holes there are inside there?
He's counting the holes.
He's actually counting the holes.
Yep.
And he's like looking around, looking on the floor, and then he'd be like, wait a second. How do I make this time go by? Okay, let's just say it's a threat that happens right now. Okay, so I see these two guys walking over here. Where's my route plan? He starts now creating like this little world in front of him right now, navigating pathways and scenarios. Okay, I'm guarding my guy right now in this boardroom. Let's just say, and he starts making time go by. But the reality, I'm telling you all this, is that in essence is as much as saying I'm watching the paint dry on the wall. That's the work.
Remember I told you the Sheridan shift?
Yes.
You're following the green like that.
You're following the carpet.
That's what it is. Yes. Like it's not the most glamorous thing at times.
No,
right?
it's not. But the thing is, the reason why how it's been positioned, like, oh, that's a $16 an hour job. Anybody can do it. And that's where the problem comes into place right now.
Yes, because it's being downplayed. But here's the thing, and I've been telling you this, what happened at that site where I'm like, hey, we're gonna do this, and you take control.
Yeah,
just yesterday, and it's not a knock on these people because they don't know better.
Right.
You said it yourself. The clients were sometimes the client refers to the security as, I just need a warm body here. So,
Right.
So it was a buyout at a site.
Right.
Right? A big corporate buyout at a site. Check in with the client, the site. Hey, good to see you. Okay, let me just pull up the order. Okay, yeah. So they asked for 3. This is the exact conversation. They asked for 3, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. Yeah, so yeah, there you go. 1 there, 1 there, 1. And just the way they talk.
Right.
Like, 1 there, 1 there. Like, it's just like pylon.
Yes.
Put a pylon there, put a pylon there.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So immediately going in that new mindset I have now, I just said to him, I said, can I go, thanks. I'll take it. Can I connect with the client? And he's like, yeah, her name is so-and-so. Oh, there she is right there. I'm like, perfect. Thanks, man. When I connected with the client, said, okay, so we have there. I go, what are the duties you're looking for? Well, honestly, we don't have any wristbands or anything. We have enough staff doing the check-in. We just want to make sure that nobody comes in from outside. So now it goes from not just them just saying, yeah, pylon there, and pylon there, to, okay, so that's the scope of the work.
Mm-hmm.
Going back with the team, saying, okay, guys, here's the scope of the work. Here's what they're looking for. Coming up with a quick 5-minute plan. Going back to the client and saying, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Right. We're gonna put someone here to ensure that someone, and then just being assertive and being like showing them like, whoa, there's value. And then it works because in the end of the night, or even throughout the night, they're like, hey man, thank you guys so much. This was really good because we were doing we made work for ourselves versus just there. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
So you be proactive. You show assertiveness. You show that we're not just a warm body. We're brains. We're thinkers. We're proactive.
Right.
Like if I understand you want that and that, but if we did this, then that would prevent. Just take control and show that and create so that you're not just standing there counting this.
So
the thing.
No, that's good that you're
because
saying
the way they're saying it is they literally just stand there and count the holes in the wall.
Right. So everything feeds into each other. So there's a lot of education that needs to happen as well. So I think for anyone listening today, as we wrap this, again, people that are pro change industry, I think if each one does its own part, approach the work differently, educate the clients. Yes. Educate the industry, be vocal. I think these are all things that can help provide some change here. Come
in with an expert, like, look, in any other industry, it's funny. If you took your car for an oil change, what's going to happen?
If you take it for an oil change?
Yeah, if you just take it for a basic, this is like, let's see if you're,
Yes, sir. Can I provide you an alignment as well?
Exactly.
And,
they're like, this.
Yeah, exactly.
And most people will go for it.
I know.
Right?
Yes.
Sometimes, up to even me, I'm like, shoot, and they start instilling fear. Maybe I didn't do that in a long time.
If you don't change your air filter, then it goes to your carburetor, and then
the flux capacitor, and then you're gonna go back in time with Doc.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But you do it, because they're the experts.
Right.
I don't know about cars.
Right.
So I'm gonna take your word for it.
Right.
So it's the same kind of concept. Like, I understand. So let's relate it. I understand you want an oil change. Right. And we're gonna do that, but you also. Right. I understand you want a warm body there and there.
Yes.
But this is what you really need.
Right.
And this is how we're going to do it because we do this and you don't.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And talk to them, not in a condescending, it's now you got to be tactful and have some charm with it now too, because you want to make them feel like, that sounds amazing.
Yes.
Great. Sounds good. Do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I find that's kind of like my approach now.
Okay.
Because you almost take offense to it. Mm-hmm. You almost take offense to it. Okay, so one there, like it's like they're just referring to you as a number. One there, one there, one there.
Right.
Go one. Like Like I'm a girl. Like I'm more than that. You know what I mean? Hold on. Let's talk about this.
Right. No, that's good, man. That's good context.
Yeah.
Well, look, that's good that we talked about this today, Miguel. So today I've learned and reaffirmed and that if I'm going to make a difference, I'm going to start making a difference from what we're doing as an organization from within.
And that's it.
Leave
it alone.
Mic drop. Any last words?
Please.
Listen, that'll be another episode on the amazing things that are happening in that beautiful nation.
Yes.
But for now...
Did you see the security guys there?
So what's interesting right now, and I'm going to be talking to Steve Somerville about this, is that the entire police force of Belize has now undergone some type of de-escalation style training across the board. Because they, police officers in the Caribbean and many places around the world, they have a very different style.
For sure.
Right? But it's being noticed right now. So I was very, very cool. Actually, Steve actually posted the article. I thought it was very, very cool that Belize police officers are starting to make the change there.
Yeah.
So
that's it. That's part of it, right? Like different training and just becoming better.
Exactly.
That's cool. So he found that article?
He found the article, yeah, and he posted it, right? So when we go down there, maybe we'll take a look and talk to the Belizean police. Well, listen, everyone, hope you had a fantastic day. Thank you, Miguel, for coming down. And for those of you that are trying agencies or even individuals, align yourself with agencies that are purpose-driven, passion-driven, that don't look at this as just a job. Because at the end of the day, if you're doing this job, you're doing it because you're a protector.
Oof.
All right, everyone, have a fantastic day and peace.
know.
Stay safe. Thank you for joining me in today's podcast. This podcast was created for protectors in the fields of law enforcement, executive protection, security, and anyone looking to level up their mindset. If you are learning from this podcast and you're enjoying it, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Sentinel Mindset. That's a zero-cost way to support us. In addition, please subscribe to the podcast both on Spotify and Apple. And on both Spotify and Apple, you can leave us up to a 5-star review. If you have questions for me or comments about the podcast or guests you would like me to consider on The Sentinel Mindset, please post all comments on YouTube. I do read all the comments. Please also check out our sponsors, thearenatoronto.com. The Arena was created to help all those in the fields of law enforcement, security, and all that achieve their fitness goals. I want to thank our producer, Matthew Doyle, and creative support, Jaslene Singh, who help me with this podcast every week. We value your feedback and are here to support you. Tune into the Sentinel Mindset every week where we look in the mirror to make real changes and explore what it takes to achieve greatness in your craft.
This podcast is brought to you by Executive Protection Lifestyle Canada. Make sure to drop by next week and don't forget to subscribe.